What's going on, everyone? So, Anna Camp was casted in the upcoming Scream 7, and we got some information that she shared with us about the upcoming Scream movie. First off, we got confirmation that she is indeed going to be playing Sydney's neighbor and best friend in the upcoming Scream 7. So we know, because there was rumors and talks about, hey, there is going to be a character that is the neighbor that is best friends with Sidney Prescott, and they have a good relationship, right? Which brought a lot of questions. And then when Anna Camp was hired, it was like, oh, is she the one that's going to be? Is she the one that's going to end up being that neighbor and, has the weird kid and all that other stuff, right? Looks like that is actually going to be the case. That is what's going to happen. Got confirmation in that regard. But she also gave us a couple other little details and information, nothing spoilerish, nothing, like, oh no, she shouldn't have said that. But wanted to kind of go over that stuff, read what she said, and then, of course, have a discussion about it. So this is from Anna Camp about Scream 7. So she says, all I can say is that it's one of the most jaw-dropping, surprising, and literally bloody screams you're going to see. When I read the script, my jaw was on the floor times a million. So basically she's saying that this is going to be intense. Now, one of the common themes that we keep hearing is that this is going to be just like over the top, bloody, dark type of gritty ghost face, right? This is going to be the scariest ghost face we've ever seen in a Scream movie and whatnot, right? Like, you keep hearing the same kind of reiterations over and over again, which is great, right? I am all for a dark, brutal, over the top ghost face, right? I don't want it to get carried away. I don't want it to lose itself, right? Like, I don't want Scream to become something that it's not. I don't want it to be this like gore fest just to have it be a gore fest, right? Like, I don't want it to turn into Terrifier. Love Terrifier, but it's its own thing, right? Like, that's what you go there for. Art the Clown just going over the top and being, ridiculous, right? I'm not looking for that from Ghostface, right? Keep things within some level of realism, right? But point is that Anna Camp, right, she should and is more likely than not going to have some type of significance in the upcoming Scream movie. She's going to have, because look, she's going to be Sydney's neighbor and best friend, right? You got to imagine that they're together semi-regular, right? Like, or at least, having regular conversations and hanging out. Like, I'm sure it's not, once you get older, it's not like how it is in high school and stuff like that, where, you guys are just like with your backpacks walking everywhere. It's not going to be like how her and Tatum were, right? But like, I had a neighbor that was, and still to this day, even though like we've moved other ways, like one of my best friends, right? But like, we saw each other and talked to each other regularly. Why? Because we were literally neighbors. You go out and get the mail together, and it's like, hey, buddy, how you doing? Or, he's unloading the groceries. You help him out. Like, hey, buddy, like, how's your day or whatever, right? So, as somebody that had a neighbor that was, that became one of my best friends, right? I kind of have that sense of like what I imagine this is going to be like to an extent, right? So I do imagine that they're hanging out, they're probably going to the store together. The kids probably hang out and grew up together, depending on how long that they've lived in this place together, right? Like, so I do think that there is going to be some form of dynamic, right? I'm sure that they talk to each other and see each other regularly, even if they're not like hanging out regularly. Like I said, my neighbor, me and him would just like be on our lawns, just talking to each other, right? Like, oh, hey, like, oh man, how's work today type thing, right? Like, all right, I got to go in and get things done. Oh yeah, likewise, buddy. Like, hey, good, how are you? But you sit outside for 10 minutes and shoot the stuff, right? Like, so I can see a little bit of that where Anna Camp's character and Nev Campbell's character, Sydney, obviously, where they're having that kind of dynamic, they're having that kind of friendship, that relationship. Obviously, it begs the question of like, okay, well, does she die? Is she Ghostface? Is she one of the survivors? Is she somebody that carries over to the next Scream film, right? Like, no, how is her and her character, how are they going to approach that? Right? Because there's a lot of different potentials and possibilities on that, right? Like, she could be Ghostface, she could end up dying, right? She could be a red herring and then ultimately die because she could be somebody that got close to her. She could be a Leslie Mocker, and this has been a a mastermind plan that's just been kind of brewing and building up, right? Like, so again, there's a lot of different possibilities and potentials on how they can approach it with Anna Camp's character. Now, personally, I would prefer them not go the Ghostface route, because it's just like, again, how many of like Sydney's close people want her dead, right? Like, and how long have they been friends? Have they been friends for like a week, a month, multiple years, right? If they've been friends for like 10 years, because Sydney's lived in this place for 10 years, right? Like, why? So it took you 10 years to muster up the courage to try to take her out, right? If it's something where she's like brand new to the neighborhood and they became friends. But like the way Anna Camp described it was like they're neighbors, yes, but they're also kind of best friends. So I would imagine that, you know, if you're going as far as saying like, you know, hey, we're besties, you know, type thing, I would imagine that it's because you guys are hanging out and have built up that rapport. Right? I don't just call people my best friend. Right? I don't just meet somebody, you know, or been friends with them for a week and I'm like, oh yeah, hey, that's my best friend. No, you know, I'll be like, oh, that's my buddy or that's my friend or whatever, right? Like, you know, like if I say like, oh, that's one of my best friends, we've probably been friends for years, right? Like, you know, again, bringing up the neighbor, right? Like me and him have been friends for years, right? Like we built that rapport relationship. It wasn't something where like, you know, we knew each other 2 days and we were, you know, finish each other's sandwiches, right? Like for those that get the reference, the joke. But, you know, again, I just want them to do right by the character, right? However they approach it. Personally, I don't want to see them go that route. I don't want to see them go the Sydney Prescott, I want her dead route. Me and my kid, my weird kid, are out to go after her and get her type thing. I just keep it a little straightforward, keep it a little more simple. But I am excited to see kind of how they approach this, how they go about it, you know, how they look to build with her character, build on the friendship. How much do they touch on the friendship? Does she live? Does she die? Right? Is she Ghostface? Is she not Ghostface? Is she a red herring that ultimately we think is Ghostface? Is she the fall person? Right? Maybe that she's the fall guy that they're, you know, looking to frame, right? So that way they can get away with it, right? There's so much possibilities. But the narrative we keep hearing from her is that there's all these twists and turns and, you know, my jaw was dropped, you know, a million times, right? Like, you know, this is going to be a bloody ride. This is going to be the scariest, craziest, most over the top Ghostface you have ever seen. You don't know Ghostface until you've seen this movie type thing. Like that's the narrative that keeps being shared over and over again. And look, I hope it is. I'm all for it. I'm here for it. Let's make that happen, because the better and scarier and more frightening Ghostface is, the better the film, in my opinion, is likely to be. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Agree with me? Disagree with me? Kind of mixed in the middle? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me not. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.